Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk about Twilight Masquerade and just Black Friday in general and people buying in because I think a lot of stuff that people expect might be there and might be there at a good price in a couple weeks when these deals come around, like the TCG player sale and lots of other sites are going to have 10% off sales. I think a lot of things people expect are going to be there are going to be gone, and I'm just going to explain my reasoning. But yeah, as you see by the title of the video, I do want to talk mainly about Twilight Masquerade because I do think this is the next one up if the pattern I'm seeing is going to continue. So, Twilight Masquerade, actually, if you look at TCG Player, the price is actually coming down. It was sitting around 162 up to 165. Now we're sitting around 160 and tons of confirmed sales in that 160 range. But when I look at sites in Canada, right, if I go to Hobbiesville, no Twilight Masquerade, they're sold out. If I go to Catch a Card, they're sold out. If I go to Deco Gaming, $230 Canadian. All right, so that's much higher than the Pokemon Center. 401 Games, I believe, doesn't have Twilight Masquerade either. They do. 204, 205. If you buy from 401 Games, you do have to pay 13% because they charge. They're in like Ontario or Quebec, so it's the HST instead of the GST and PST. So you're basically paying 220, 230 anyways there. If you go to what is this, Canada Card World, they're sold out as well. If you go to Cans and Games, they have almost nothing in stock. They have a little bit of Temporal Forces, one Fusion Strike, one Lost Origin, which I think they probably have a few other boxes that they just don't list. But other than that, really, quite bare. Like nothing, definitely no Twilight Masquerade. And then if you go to eBay, lowest listed is $230 plus $15 shipping. So your best bet to buy Twilight Masquerade right now, if you're in Canada, unless you're buying like a Facebook group or something, you can find it cheaper, is actually the Pokemon Center, which if you pay the 5% tax, you're going to be looking at like what, 221-ish, which is going to be cheaper than 401 Games, and it's going to be cheaper than Deco Gaming's, 240, whatever that would be after tax. So if you're in Canada, it's actually the cheapest place to buy Twilight Masquerade is the Pokemon Center. And I've been paying attention to a lot of these sites, right? So Hobbiesville had Twilight Masquerade over the past week. They did have some in stock. They also had Surging Sparks, which I don't see anymore. So I guess they don't have any Surging Sparks, but they increased that from like 180 to 190 to 200 to 210 to 220, and it just continued to sell out. Catch a Card hasn't had any in stock for a while. A couple other places. Deco Gaming, I don't follow too often, so I'm not sure how their price increase has been for this. They have Surging Sparks in for 250 Canadian right now, which is insane. But yeah, a lot of these places have had Twilight Masquerade, and it's been slowly moving up over the past couple weeks from that like 180 Canadian to like 200 Canadian. Now a couple places are at like 210, 220, right? So, and that those are the only places I can find Twilight Masquerade. So I think it probably is similar in the States. If you guys are in the States, let me know if you can find Twilight Masquerade cheaper than this. 220 Canadian, I'm trying to think of the conversion. It's you're going to be close to 160, 165 after that conversion. So if you guys in the States can find it cheaper than that, awesome. But I think just based on what I'm seeing in Canada, I don't imagine Twilight Masquerade, unless there's a restock, will be up on the Pokemon Center much longer. And, just in general for booster boxes, right? Uh, Not a ton of options here. So when I look at Hobbiesville, they have a bit of Sword and Shield left. Astral Radiance boxes at 250, Silver Tempest 210. Temporal Forces, not a ton in stock, 170 Canadian. That's basically the norm at this price, or at this point for Temporal Forces is 170 Canadian. And there's not a ton in stock. If I should be able to check. Oh, there is a ton. I lied. 141 boxes of Temporal Forces at 170 Canadian. Paradox Rift, let's see how many they have. Only 41, right? And that's 155 Canadian. You have some Obsidian Flames. You have a little bit of Paldea Evolved, but no Surging Sparks. They have booster bundles. If you guys want to check, they have 164 booster bundles, $45 a piece. Insane pricing there. But yeah, again, not a ton of variety when it comes to booster boxes. Not a ton of stuff in stock. Catch a Card, they have a little bit of Obsidian Flames, a little bit of Stellar Crown, a little bit of Paldea Evolved, and I think they have like one more box of Temporal Forces or a couple. I actually bought some Temporal Forces from them, I think, or was that from PokeZone? I can't remember, but I just bought a case of Paradox Rift off Catch a Card. They have it at 145.25 Canadian. So that's like 152 after tax. I think it came out to 152.52, something like that. that's the cheapest I can find. And I think that he only has maybe 2 cases left or 3 cases or something like that. I think most of this is going to be gone before Black Friday. Same thing, like you look at Deco Gaming, their boxes are priced high strategically, right? I think they want to hold on to a lot of their stuff. And then you look at 401 Games, they're kind of all over the place. But again, Paradox Rift 155 is kind of the cheapest, base at 150 almost. And again, you're paying 13% in tax. You know, they have their Twilight or they have their Temporal at 170 as well, but 13% compared to Hobbiesville 5%. You're going to be paying much more. And then Canada Card World, just like out of product. Again, Cans and Games, almost nothing. Four boxes at 170 Canadian. So there's not a ton left, guys. And I've been paying attention over the past week. A lot of this supply is drying up, and we're not even close to Black Friday yet, let alone like, crunch holiday season, first couple weeks of December when people are buying stuff. So yeah, I mean, my plan was to buy a ton of stuff going into Black Friday when there was a 10% off deal. And I still have a plan for that, and I'm not actually going to tell people my plan right now. I've seen some deals on certain sites that I'm strategically not putting up in this video, just because they're things, if I can get a 10% off deal, I'm going to pull the trigger on. But I think a lot of people would probably buy it out if I shared it right now. So I'm not going to be talking about those in this video. But if you guys want to do your own research, come up with your own plan for Black Friday, that's totally cool. But I think a lot of the booster boxes on the market right now are probably going to be gone in the next couple of weeks. That's just my opinion. Keep your eyes out on Twilight Masquerade. And, to be fair, it is one of the best sets, right? I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think the Greninja was anything special, but $320 price tag right now. Kind of like Lost Origin, it's got that top hit just carrying the set. And then you have a couple other decent cards. You have the Eevee, Carmine, Perrin are in there. So, a couple of decent cards. But you guys let me know in the comments down below if you're investing in any of these sets right now, especially Twilight Masquerade. I didn't want to buy some, but I did buy some over the past couple weeks just because I figured, based on what I was seeing, that I didn't think it was going to be there much longer. But yeah, again, I'm loading up on Paradox Rift. Again, not paid or anything, but shout out to Catch a Card. Lowest price I've seen in a long time, 145.25 Canadian. I do think if Hobbiesville has some in stock, they only have 41 boxes right now. If they do run a 10% off sale, it will be cheaper on Hobbiesville, especially considering you get 1% back in store credit. If you're using a 2% card as well, that's like 3% back. So if there is some Paradox Rift available on Black Friday and Hobbiesville hasn't raised their price, I'm probably going to buy some more off Hobbiesville. But I wouldn't be surprised if they sell another 10 or 20 boxes and bring this up to like 165, something like that. So yeah, I mean, you guys let me know in the comments down below again as well, because I'm curious. I'm curious if people are already buying for Black Friday or if they're holding off for the next 2 weeks. I'm sure you guys in the States or other parts of the world like Europe, Australia, you might have cheaper prices. You might have better opportunities than I do here in Canada. So it would be interesting to see what other people are seeing across the globe. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.